How much of an impact do you foresee in this year's future this election having on the future of the courts with President-elect Barack Obama?
Well, this is a critical election. This was a critical election for the Supreme Court because the three most likely justices to leave were three of the more liberal justices. So if John McCain had replaced them, the court would be very conservative for a generation or longer. Now it appears that the evenly divided status quo will probably continue.
Sure. And with that said, do you feel as if the background of the justices has a huge effect on how they make the decisions, or would it be more so precedent?
Well, you know, the thesis of my book is that constitutional decisions are inherently very political. I don't say that in criticism of the justices, but I think when you're dealing with issues like affirmative action, abortion, church-state, they're very political, and the ideology of the justices matters more, frankly, than the precedents.
Sure, sure. We're going to turn to a little media question here.
Sure.
I know you wouldn't mind. So, why aren't cameras allowed into the realm of the Supreme Court?
You know, I won't give you a good reason why cameras are barred from the Supreme Court, because I think they should be allowed in. I'm not persuaded by the court's reasoning. But the court moves slowly, and I think in future years, sooner rather than later, we're going to see more audio releases from the Supreme Court. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see oral arguments from the court streamed on the web pretty soon. But video makes the justices a lot more nervous because it's an intrusion on the physical space of the court, and it also makes them more public figures than they are now. They like the fact that they have a lot of power, but people generally don't know who they are. That makes them pretty comfortable. So I just think there's no good reason to me, given the importance of the court's deliberations, to keep cameras out, but it's their court and they don't want it.
Sure. So if there was anything to say about that, as compared to the state level, why are they allowed in the state level, I wonder? Is it just that?
It's a real classic federalism issue. Each state makes its own rules on camera access. Florida is famous as the Sunshine State. There are cameras everywhere. Their cameras show the juries, totally open courts. New York, where I'm from, almost no cameras in the courtroom. I think that's a mistake, but that's their rules. It's really up to each state.
Sure.
What's the rule in Indiana?
I think
no cameras in the courtroom?
Unless it's, what, special cases?
Yeah.
Well, and I was going to ask you, furthermore, about the OJ Simpson case. And did those same cameras have an effect?
You know, it's my view that cameras in the courtroom almost never impact what actually goes on in the courtroom. Unfortunately, the case that everybody knows and remembers is a case where cameras did have an impact. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And unfortunately, the cause of cameras in the courtroom was really set back by the OJ Simpson case and has never really recovered. Now it's going on 15 years later. The problem was in Los Angeles, people are very transfixed by celebrity, and unfortunately that included judges as well. And you had not enough control exercised by the judge, and things went on for too long, and it didn't reflect well. Unfortunately, the good cause of cameras in the courtroom was hurt by that case.
Yes. So, what do you anticipate? We're going to kind of jump back. I apologize. What do you anticipate with the cabinet picks of President-elect Barack Obama?
Well, you know, I think Obama's cabinet picks are consistent with the campaign he ran, which is a center-left campaign. These are mostly Democrats who are pretty in the middle of the Democratic Party. They're to the left of the middle of the political spectrum, but they're not great big liberals, but they're not conservatives either. And I think particularly the Hillary Clinton choice, if that pans out, as it appears it will, shows that Obama is not afraid of strong personalities in the cabinet. He really has a strong confidence in himself, and he thinks this is going to be a very consequential presidency.
And with that said, do you, in your own opinion, do you foresee Hillary Clinton as the next Secretary of State?
I think it is virtually certain that Hillary Clinton will be nominated for Secretary of State, and barring some huge unknown, she's going to be she's going to be confirmed, and it's going to be an extraordinary story.
Definitely.
And you know, one of the things that's fun for me about coming to Indiana is Indiana has gone from, you know, a state that was essentially written off as uncompetitive, and is now going to be one of the big political battlegrounds for the next 10 years.
Was it 1960?
1964.
64.
So Lyndon Johnson was the last Democrat to win Indiana before Barack Obama, and I just think it is an extraordinary aspect of this election that this state, of all states, went for Barack Obama.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time, and thanks
Very
for
nice to
being
meet
with
you.
us.
Thanks for having me.